Now, Sony has increased the price of the PlayStation in multiple regions, including the US, and has increased it by a decent amount. In fact, it seems like more and more as time passes by, you're probably better off getting a new console at launch to risk not paying more money further on down the line if you want to get your hands on a shiny new console. That being said, though, the PS5 hasn't really been worth its stock all that much, if I'm being completely honest. But with that being said, it hasn't increased its price as much as other platforms, but the thing is that it's still a barrier to entry for people to play games that are on the platform in question. PS5's high price is apparently becoming a serious headache for publishers now. Over the course of the console's generation, and we could keep talking about this over and over, but PS5's got a pretty steep price point at this point. I mean, hell, did you see when the PS5 Pro launched at $700 USD? That was insane. That was huge. Like, there was no reason for it to have been that expensive. And now even big publishers are pointing fingers. More importantly, and this is using Monster Hunter Wilds as an example, Capcom president Haruhito Sugimoto believes that the cost of Sony's current gen system has been a key factor in limiting software sales. Sugimoto's complaint stems from the fact that Monster Hunter Wilds is dragging its feet in commercial sense. The action RPG roared into life at launch, but became the company's fastest selling title ever, but its momentum slowed to a comparative crawl in the months that followed. Now, you might usually think, hey, Monster Hunter Wilds, it doesn't run particularly well. But that's more specifically on PC than it is on consoles. Consoles, it does technically run a bit better. So I don't know if that's really something to harken at too much. But it looks like there's some more like publishers pointing the finger. So in an interview with Nikkei, as reported by Automaton, who probably were the ones that kind of translated it, the Capcom boss revealed ahead of release the publisher had embarked the PS5 as Wild's main platform with regards to sales, but it simply didn't match expectation. Sugimoto says that when you add everything together, the PS5's price, the price of a monthly subscription to PS Plus, and the price of the software, it becomes a very expensive endeavor very quickly. And that's actually very true. Even though I'm talking about just the PS5 price, that is a good point. The price of the game is higher than it would have been otherwise in previous generations. And that pricing could potentially have been on Capcom more than anything. So let's just say that that's Capcom's fault. But the fact that a monthly subscription to PS Plus is also required to play online, because this is very much a very multiplayer heavy title. Even if you do choose to play by yourself, you usually can. It's just that, hey, if you're playing with other people, it does become easier to an extent, but of course, difficulty does sometimes scale depending on what game you're playing and how many people you're playing with. He goes on to say that this total cost becomes a serious barrier, particularly for younger gamers who don't necessarily have disposable income. And especially when we're talking about younger gamers, I don't know if people have noticed, they mostly just play free-to-play games on their phone and on PCs that other people own. And that's why Roblox has become one of the biggest things in the world, basically. Everyone has a mobile device or has a PC, so in the end, they can all just download Roblox and play that. For what it's worth, we think Sugimoto has a point. There's no denying the PS5 is an expensive console, and recent price hikes haven't changed that perspective. And this is specifically, I think, referring to the US price increase, given that now the US is complaining about price increases, even though the rest of us have been kind of suffering that fate for quite some time. But yeah. Also, the PS5 console surpasses 80 million milestone sales. That's crazy. Wait, hold on. When was this? A month ago. Okay, so beginning of August, it hit 80 million, which is crazy to think about because, to be completely honest, I wish more people just stayed on PS4, to be completely fair, because PS5 just does not feel like a console worth buying, and I think its sales are very much respective of that. It should have sold a lot more, but it really hasn't, because people have not been particularly tempted, and the price is only going up as time has gone on. So I don't think you're bringing in more people. I think you're pushing more people away than you are bringing in. So ultimately, at the end of the day, what are you really doing? Making yourself look like a prestige console? that has only hurt my perception of my choice of console. Basically, I play on PlayStation primarily. Yes, that's true, but I don't like this whole idea of them being like the iPhone, the luxury brand of the gaming industry. I feel like you need more people on your platform more than anything else. And maybe I'm talking about things from an old hat perspective. The fact that everything is going significantly more multi-platform as time has gone on, and that Xbox has already started doing that stuff because they failed to fight with the very rules that they kind of had. But there's also this big bubble of pricing that's going on from a console perspective and games perspective. These massive budgets of games have to eventually stop, and I think that Hollow Knight Silksong is going to put games to shame, selling at only $20 at launch. That's crazy. That's insane. The game has been has been selling for like ages and ages, not selling, has been in development for years and years, and now is going to be finally, on sale, and it's going to be sold at just $20. That's crazy to think about. But it also, I guess, puts things into perspective, at least to some extent. But with all that being said, though, I am interested in what you guys have to say about this. Let me know in the comments below. Like the video if you liked it. Subscribe to the channel. I'm aiming for 500 subs by the end of the year. And honestly, with all that being said, I guess I don't really have much more to mention. It does seem like a bit of a short video, but hey, it is what it is. That being said, though, I'll see you guys tomorrow.